Hello, hello. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon for wherever you're tuning into. You're welcome to my YouTube channel, Chat with your boy, the Tycoon. It was a lovely day here in London, and I'm bringing you a very, very important topic today. We're going to be talking about uh, doctors in the USA. I mean, as we all know, the USA has a population of over 400 million people or thereabouts. So it's a very, very important country to the world. It's a world power, and as we know as well, medical people are sometimes people that are underappreciated. So we just want to talk a little bit about what it takes to be a doctor in the United States. And thank you for being here today. And you're welcome again for another great topic, another great interaction. It promises to be interesting, insightful, educative, and that is all we are, going to be doing for you in this channel, right? So you're welcome, and just sit down, relax, and enjoy. I have a very special guest today. I have with me today Dr. Chiaka. Um, Help me and welcome Dr. Chiaka. Hi,
Hello.
Chiaka. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Another day gone by. It's about 9 p.m. here, and
Mhm.
yeah, I just had it was another work day, and yeah. How about you? What have you been up to today?
So today, so right now it's 3 p.m. where I'm at. I'm in Dallas, Texas. And, I woke up, did some of my morning routine. Then I
Mhm.
started onboarding for a new job that I'm about to start. And then, I hopped on here.
Interesting. I mean, getting a new job, that is very interesting. You're
Mm.
welcome. You're welcome. It's the first time, and this is the third episode of this our series. We're just talking about a couple of things. Just to kick things off very, very quickly, because we ain't got no time, right? Um, just tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you, Chiaka?
Yeah, so I'm Chiaka. I am a medical doctor. I just graduated medical school. And a little bit about me, I was born in the US, I was born in California. Me and my family, we moved around a lot. So, moved in between countries, states, and I ended up in California. And here I am, or Texas, sorry. And here I am.
Texas. Oh,
Texas,
really?
yes.
So, interesting. So, what's your favorite state in the US then? I mean, I know you live in Texas now, but where would you say long term you would like to end up?
Ooh, okay. So I spent a little bit of time in the DMV, which is Baltimore, DC, the capital, and also Virginia.
Yeah.
So I would totally spend some time in that area and California as well.
Oh, okay. Nice. Nice. Okay. Well, interesting. So yeah, let's just kick it off. So, what made you get into this profession? I mean, being a doctor is one of those really prestigious. And myself, having been around medical practitioners, my mom is a nurse, my sister is a doctor, my younger brother is a nurse as well. So I've really been around like medical people, and I've also been in a hospital setting as well in some kind of capacity. So I understand
Mhm.
that it's a tough job. So what made you get into this profession? How did you get into? How did you decide that you wanted to be a doctor?
Yeah. So my parents, they definitely instilled in me a lot of direction growing up. My parents, they instilled in me values to work hard and kind of seek jobs that, would provide for me in the future. And so looking into that, I got interest in high school and college just to work with,
Yeah.
younger kids and kids that are sick. And I just kind of had a passion for that moving forward. And then I applied to medical school.
Oh, great. I mean, passion. I like that word you used. I mean, obviously, down the line, we're going to talk about passion, right? Because obviously, I know it takes passion. You must take some passion, and you must take some level of dedication to want to take care of people, right? Because that's really what it's really about. And if you don't have that passion, and if you're not dedicated, I don't think you're gonna, so
Hmm.
yeah, we're gonna talk about that, down the line. Yeah, so how much do you know? How much would you say about your profession at this point? You said you've just gotten out, and you've become a doctor now. So how much do you know about the profession, just on a broad level? Not really specifics at this point.
I don't think I know enough. And I'll say that
Okay.
because students, as medical students, we learn just, the baseline textbook things that we're supposed to know. But once I
Mhm.
start, my training, which I'm about to start in about 2 months, we learn
Yeah.
in depth things. We learn so much more. We learn just detailed things about the patients and about the diseases that we would never know as a student. So I would say probably like I don't know if I can give it a percentage, but
Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10,
1 to 10,
where would you say you are at?
I would say probably like 4, less than 5 for sure. I don't know half of what I'm supposed to know, which is expected. It's expected. It's a
Yeah, I mean
learning
that.
job.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's pretty modest, honestly. And yeah, it also says something about your personality as well. I think that's modest because other people want to act like they know it all, right? Which is
Oh,
not possible. Uh, right? So yeah, yeah, that's fine. So what does it take then to be a doctor in the US? Having gone through the process now, right? What would you say it takes? Just walk me through, like, from the first stage, maybe how many years it takes, the kind of courses you have to do, what you need to understand. Like, just walk me through that.
yeah. So in the US, we have to go through university. So once you graduate university, you take an entrance exam, you get a score, and then you apply to medical school. So 4 years of
Yeah.
university, and then apply for 4 years of medical school. And
Mhm.
then you go through within those 4 years of medical school, you do about 2 years of like classroom learning,
Mhm.
taking tests, textbook learning. And then the,
Yeah.
the last 2 years, you do hospital training. So you go into the hospitals, you interact with patients, interact with the doctors, and kind of get that hands on experience. And in
Yeah.
between all of those years, you're taking a bunch of exams left and right. You're still taking exams in the last 2 years as well. So that's in a
Wow.
nutshell what it takes. Yeah.
Yeah. So 8 years in total, right?
Years in
If
total. Yes.
Yeah, 8 years in
Yes.
total. Wow, that's a long time. That's a long time. That's a long time to be in school, right?
Yeah.
So like I said, you also get to do the practicals, right? Which is the 2 years you talked about, sort of working with doctors. And so, are they going to attach you with a particular doctor, or is it maybe you like how does that work? How did it work for you?
Okay, yeah. So, my medical school was actually located not in the US, but overseas in the Caribbean islands. And so, the way it works there, we do our first 2 years on the island, and then we do our last 2 years anywhere in the US. We don't really have like a hospital, central hospital that we all go to. So, for
Yeah.
me, I had to move around a lot, go to city to city. And then, yes, we get paired up with the doctor. They're called our preceptors. So they watch how we interview the patients. They watch how we kind of
Mm.
assess their entire disease process, and then they grade us on it.
Yeah, okay. So what would you say then is your most the part you enjoyed most about that whole process? The entire 8 years you spent,
Ooh.
what part of it did you enjoy most?
Ooh, I would say probably just the different connections I've made over the years.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that I've met that they didn't even come from my school. They weren't even doctors, but just being in the city, being in the hospital, some of the patients that I would come across, like just life lessons that you would get from different people, all walks of life, is probably what I like the most about, medical school.
All right, cool, cool. I like that. I mean, because obviously it's about interactions, isn't it? It's about understanding your patients, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
So yeah, I think yeah, while I was doing a little research for this topic, I came across a lot of sort of articles, a lot of
Hmm.
documents on doctors, and it was mainly just about understanding the patient and what
Hmm.
their problems, and then so that you can understand even how to help them with it. So
Exactly.
that's a good one there. So I mean, having obviously studied in America, right, which is a
Hmm.
big sort of area on its own. Do you follow requirements and regulations in other jurisdictions like in Europe, in Asia, in Africa, and some other places? And how do you compare those?
Okay,
How do you
so
compare? Yeah.
I know that, in some different countries, your high school or your college is kind of mixed in with medical school, if that's what you're asking. Like, you don't have to do
Yeah.
the years. Some of it is you can graduate from college, like in Nigeria
Mm,
or UK, you graduate from college and you're a doctor. For
yeah.
us, there's, different countries have different like examinations or like state licensing programs that you have to go through. Each
I have to
country,
go through.
but
Yeah.
I think every country has like rules and regulations, just like the U.S., to kind of go through the steps of becoming a doctor. Like each has its own licensing like
Yes.
process.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Okay. Yeah. I like that. So I mean, so what? Yeah. Let's come back now, right? To the passion. You talked about passion earlier on. So what type of passion does one need to be a medical practitioner in general? And yeah, first, and then how do you Yeah. handle the stress that comes with being
Mm,
a medical practitioner? So two
okay.
questions there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, to answer the first question, you have to really, you do have to have a lot of passion for people. You have to be patient with people.
Passion for
You
people.
have to
Yeah.
be, yeah, patience is definitely key. You have to want to listen to their problems, to their issues. I think, patients, they're very vulnerable and they're all very sick. So they want to know that whoever is in charge of them really does care about
Mm,
every part of them, every detail about them. So being in their room and not rushing through the process of getting to know what's going on. Also, having a passion for problem solving is a huge one, because a huge part of medicine is gathering the information you have about the patient and then figuring out what it is they have so that you can treat it properly so that they can get better.
mm,
So, passion for
yeah.
problem solving. And yeah, I would say those are the two. And then to answer your other question, I
Yeah.
think, you know, I guess I could speak as a student because I'm not a practitioner just yet, but as a student,
Hmm.
I definitely had my hobbies. I definitely had, my community, my friends, and my family to kind of, walk through the process of becoming a doctor. And like, also, patients, they have a lot of stuff going on, and you can easily, if you are the type of person to kind of bring that home, you have to filter through that before you get home and make sure that you don't take on their emotions too much, because it's a very, it can be pretty sad. It can very also be very victorious, but a lot of the times it's very
Yeah.
stressful and sad. So
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. I mean, yeah. So what I can deduce from what you've just said now is that apart from having the technical skills, right,
mhm,
knowing what to do, having the competence, right, to be able to do the job, you also have to have very good communication skills. You have to be able to listen.
mhm,
You have to have patience, right? And these are not things that I would say the average person has. So yeah, yeah, that's really, really interesting,
mhm,
insight there that you've given us about your profession. And yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, no wonder doctors are highly respected. right?
Hmm.
So yeah, that's really interesting insights there. Thank you for that. So I mean, has this then always been your dream? Has it always been your dream, or is it just you talked about your parents earlier, and you said your parents introduced you to it, and then you kind of liked it, ended up liking it. So personally, has it always been your dream to take care of patients, to look after people, to
I would.
because like you
Mhm.
said, they are vulnerable, they are so has it sort of been your dream?
I would say so. I wouldn't say, I think medicine specifically is something I grew into, but definitely
Hmm.
taking care of people, specifically taking care of people emotionally and, in their vulnerable states has been a huge passion of mine. And I've seen that in different ways outside of medicine as well. And so that kind of just confirms that, besides just the stress of learning about the medicine, I do have the heart for it, and I do love to make people feel seen and heard and also cared for. So definitely.
All right, nice, cool. I like that. I mean, I like that. Yeah. So this is an interesting one. I don't know if I don't even know if you've thought about this before. To be honest, I don't know if you've thought, but uh, but I said yes. I'm still gonna ask you because you said there that you're you're just you're a fresh doctor, right? So
Yeah.
basically, the blessings, the skills you have are still fresh. Everything is still fresh. So I don't know if
Hmm.
you've thought about the area because I know there are many branches of medicine, isn't it? There are
Yeah.
many different branches,
Yeah.
many areas you could go into. So tell me, you know, what what area of medicine would you like to focus on and why?
Okay, so right now, currently I'm in internal medicine, which is, the very general hospital doctor that you see when you get admitted to the hospital. However, I'm in a position where I have the choice to kind of maneuver to a different specialty. The specialty I was thinking about was, physical medicine and rehab.
Mhm.
So patients with like disabilities, anyone who's functionally down, impaired, then I would be their doctor. I think that's currently what I'm interested in, but I think I'm very open minded at this point because I do have the opportunity to kind of like switch it up. So, yeah.
Okay, cool,
Mhm.
cool. I mean, the yeah, you've got options, right?
There are no
Yeah, that's
options.
basically
So.
how I'm gonna
But I can't
that is
choose and
good.
then decide to like change it. I want to make sure that I choose and then stick with it. So.
Yeah. Okay, good, nice. Yeah, so that brings us to an interesting segment of our conversation today, which is the question segment, right?
Mm.
And just it's gonna be very simple questions, nothing, nothing serious, nothing very serious. So I've got two questions for you, right?
Mhm.
The first one is it's simple actually, and I don't think this one there's a right or a wrong answer. What makes a good doctor?
Mm. Okay. I would say definitely like it goes without saying, but intelligence. I think everyone who's gotten to the point of graduating medical school is intelligent, but that's
So some of
obviously
us,
the
some of us are not doctors, we're not intelligent, and that's fine.
well,
I mean, we're happy
no,
to take that.
I'm saying even before, maybe even before graduating, there are people who have that smarts that are able to be doctors, right? But that's number one.
Yeah.
Um, I would say, I would say just a good attitude, having that attitude for people. Because, you can be a doctor and you can be really smart, but you could also have a very cold presence with people and they
Yeah.
don't feel comfortable talking to you. So I think a good doctor is mainly having an approachable and like, attitude that people want to open up to and tell you everything.
Yeah, but then you're not always in the mood for someone to approach you. So is it a situation where, okay, when you're going to work, then you
Hmm.
have to switch it on, or I mean,
Yeah.
let's say you have some personal grievances as well. You have some
Mhm.
things that are not going well for you in your own personal life, and you
Mhm.
have to work. So, how do you handle that kind of situation? Is it, you
Mm.
know,
Yeah.
how do you handle that
Well,
situation?
for me, so everyone handles it differently. But for me, I think, just waking up immediately, I know what the day is going to look like. It's going to be difficult. So I do I'm a believer. So I do my morning prayers. I kind of get myself hyped up. I read my word, make sure that my mind is fresh before going into other people's business. And yeah, I think that usually helps me. And of course, it's not always perfect, but I think that usually helps me.
All right. All right. Cool. Well, that's one of the questions. We're just going to continue, and then the second one will come later on. But well
Okay.
done. Well done. You've you've passed that one. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Uh-huh.
So well done for that.
Hmm.
Well done for that. So yeah, let's move on. We're gonna move on to the next question. Yeah. So
Hmm.
I mean, you might have talked about this a bit actually. So you don't need to we don't need to dwell too much on it. But what do you think about patients? Patients come with many different many different types of patients. So overall, what do you think about patients? I think you've touched on it a bit. You gave some snippets of yeah. What do you think generally about patients?
Um, so generally, I guess I would say, I think of them as people that I can get to know. Like, so one of my preceptors in one of my rotations made a good point, which stuck with me, and I'm definitely going to take this into my training. Is whenever you walk into the room, make it as if you're chatting to one of your grandparents or chatting to a friend or an old colleague, so that they feel that camaraderie and closeness with you. So that's how I kind of see it. That's kind of how I go into viewing my patients. Is you're my friend, you're someone that you can talk to, you can talk to me. And it usually
Mhm.
kind of goes easily that way, instead of seeing them as someone that you don't want to view them um as their disease or as a number on the chart. You
Yeah.
want to view them as someone who is, who's a person, but they're going through something and you're trying to help them go through it.
Yeah, and don't forget it's a job as well. So you're
Yeah.
not viewing
Yeah.
them as money, right? You're not viewing them as okay,
No,
I'm here to make money and then I'm just gonna go home and that's it.
no.
So you have
Yeah.
to it has to be that passion, that compassion for them, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's 100%.
Okay. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't know, like being an accountant for me, I don't think I could have been a medical practitioner because all I see is just numbers and figures, to be honest. But yeah,
Mm.
kudos to you guys. Well done for that.
I'm one
Yeah,
of the people who does not deal with numbers and figures. I remember there
yeah,
were times where the numbers were, completely fine, but the patient wasn't okay, and I was just looking at the patient, but we ended up, bringing him to a different facility and discharging from us. So it's like
mm,
you have to have a balance. You have to look at the numbers in order to, keep the flow properly of the hospital, but
yeah.
also look at the patient. Hmm.
Okay, cool, cool, nice. Yeah, I like that. I mean, very, very insightful chat, very interesting conversation there. Yeah, but then I'm gonna bring an interesting aspect now to obviously the job, right? And I'm gonna ask you this. So, what are your thoughts on cosmetic surgeries, right? BBLs, boob
Wow. Okay.
jobs, tummy tucks, but all this. What are your thoughts on this kind of surgery, especially the ones that are not necessarily, yeah, not necessary, right? I think that's what basically what cosmetic, but sort of
Okay.
what people just want to do because they want it, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts
Mm-hmm.
on this kind of and if you were in this situation, if you were to go into those that is there an area you would like to go into?
Oh, is that
Yeah.
like plastic surgery? Is that an area I'd go into? Okay,
Yeah,
so what do I?
yeah,
Well, first and foremost, I'll say I think everyone should embrace how they want to look, whether it be
yeah,
the natural side or if they want to
yeah,
get it done. There's no judgment in that, especially as a medical provider. There's no judgment in that. But coming from just a
yeah,
human that's not a provider, there's also no judgment. But I do feel like that's not an area I would go into because um, maybe I just don't have passion enough for that. I wouldn't want someone to come to me for a boob job or a BBL, and I'm not really
Yeah.
I'm not really on their side. I'm always going to be, oh, you look good, but we're told not to do that when a patient comes. We're supposed to support what they do. So I don't think I would have enough passion to do that for my patients. But,
Yeah.
I think there's also a really good side. I mean, I'll say that there's a really good side to it because the people who do have passion for it, they they make their patients feel really beautiful after the procedure, and that brings confidence to
Mm,
people. So I think, if you're meant for the
yeah.
job, then it's a good position.
Yeah, I mean, and to be honest, some of them do look good. Sometimes the finishing, looks perfect, and you're like, is this
Mhm.
real? Is this, yeah.
Right.
So,
That's
yeah,
a good doctor.
yeah, kudos to some of the good doctors out there doing them jobs, man. They're really good. And you can only
Mhm.
give thumbs up to them. If someone shows up to you and says, okay, I don't like the size of my this, or I don't want, and they can afford it and you can do it, why not? Go ahead, like you said.
Mhm.
People should be allowed to do
Mhm.
what they want to do. Yeah, so that's really
But
interesting. Very interesting there.
I'll also say, oh, are we done with that?
Yeah, yeah,
I'll
yeah,
also
yeah. I'm done. Go
say,
on.
there's a lot of like, yeah, there's a lot of scary procedures where people aren't really thinking about the risks that come with that. So,
Yeah,
there's a lot of risk that comes with, and also a lot of upkeep that comes with, you know, getting
yeah, because
work
they have to keep
done. So I think
coming in
people,
for one thing or the other, right?
yeah, and
Yeah,
it's just,
yeah,
be careful, do your research, make sure you're doing the right thing.
thank you very. I mean, it's good that you mentioned that, the risk aspect of it, because it has literally destroyed a lot of people, right? It's really sort of
Yeah,
put a lot of people in some kind of problem or the other.
yeah.
Um, you know, they found out that it wasn't actually what they thought it would be. It
Hmm.
wasn't as good as they thought it would be in the end. So yeah, it's really good that you mentioned that, and
Yeah.
yeah, thanks for highlighting that aspect of it, because it turns out that at the end of the day we see the finishing, right? But sometimes it goes wrong,
Mhm.
and it leads
Yeah.
to even sometimes extreme, sometimes even costing people their lives. So that brings us to the end. That brings us to the
Okay.
end of the interview today. I don't know if there's anything you would like to add before we start wrap up. Like, is there anything you would like to add? Anything you would like to sort of talk about for wrap up?
Mm, no, I think you covered it all.
All right, nice.
Mhm.
Cool. So, interesting. So, I mean, Dr. Chaka, where can we find you? Your Instagram, and what are you up to? What other things apart from being a doctor? Is there anything else you're up to? Where can people find you? Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X? Like, yeah, where can we find you?
So I'm mostly on Instagram. My at name is at Chantrese, so CHONTRESSE. Apart from medicine, I do writing. I like to write about my faith, so I have a Instagram page for that called Mindful of Goodness. You can follow that if you are interested in poems and learning more about faith and just getting inspired. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, nice. Thank you. Thank you very much for being here today. And it was really a pleasure. Thank you very much for showing up and for sort of, for talking about what it means. Especially, I enjoy the aspect of the process, right? The process of being a doctor, and because there might be people out there who are interested in becoming a doctor or who want to go into, yeah. So thank you very much for sharing your thoughts, and that was really, really, really helpful. And thank you for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. Today was fun.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
okay. I mean, thank you everyone for watching today. Just keep on expecting more. There's much more coming on this channel, and let's go together. Please like, subscribe, and share the video so that people can learn. What's Yeah, let people learn, let people understand what it takes to be a doctor in the USA. And there's been a lot of insight that has been given in this video today by Dr. Chiaka. Um, so once more, bye.
Hi, thank you.